The done deal for Moisés Caicedo has been coming for some time. And while some people might say, hey, there are big questions around the deal, if you look in the details of it, what Chelsea have got is a bargain for themselves. And they've also done it in one of the smartest ways as well. And I'm going to detail why. I've been a big fan of what Chelsea have been doing with their rebuild for quite some time. And despite the fact that I'm a Liverpool fan, and I would have loved Moisés Caicedo at Liverpool, I understand why he went to Chelsea. And I also understand why people are misinterpreting what it is that Chelsea have been doing and why all these pieces are now coming together after quite a long time of frustration at Chelsea. But he is now the most expensive player in English football history. And you can debate, hey, like whether you want to say, he deserves to be that guy, he's a better player than Rice, or he's a better player than Jude Bellingham, or he's not half a player of whatever. It's really about the value that he offers for Chelsea on the field. It's really about the value that he offers this guy over here, Mauricio Pochettino, a proven machismo manager who now has the actual backing of someone who's willing to try to get around and, shall we say, go through some of the Premier League and UEFA rules and basically work out what it actually takes to be a Premier League team that doesn't just go, hey, we're going to do it the same way as everyone else. Everyone down the years, and bear in mind, has all had their special model. City got their own special model. Liverpool had the Moneyball idea for quite some time. Arsenal have their own model. Manchester United are now coming up with a new model built around Erik ten Hag. But each of these models has taken a special manager. Pep Guardiola to make it work at City. Klopp to make it work at Liverpool. Arsenal needed Mikel Arteta. It doesn't just work with any manager. And now Chelsea have got their man. And that is why he has got his guy in Moisés Caicedo. And what he unlocks for Chelsea is really key. So I'm going to break that down for you in this video. Bear in mind, the long contract is one thing. Having it over, an 8 or 10 or 12 or however many year period really helps the fee that they paid because amortization, the rules that haven't quite come in with UEFA yet. He chose London over Liverpool. I wouldn't want to really set it up like that, but he chose these as locations. And I think the real reason he chose Chelsea was A, the long contract, B, the payment, C, the relationship with the agent, and D, I also think that because Chelsea had been pursuing him for such a long time, because he was sold on the manager, all these kind of things, he felt that he had to go there. And I respect that. Even I'm a Liverpool fan. Bayern came in, they looked in, maybe they thought there was an option at the time. They were quite emphatically told, no, there isn't, and especially not for the low fee you're probably offering. But let's face it, Brighton always had a high fee for this guy, and the reasons are these. I don't want to get into the politics of it. I've got a podcast. I can break that down somewhere else. First of all, defence. This guy is defensively, A, he loves making standing tackles. B, he loves not being turned in the midfield. C, he offers so much stability, and not only stability in terms of I win it back, but also in terms of I win it back and then suddenly there is a massive structure going forward that you can enact a couple of different defensive structures. You can leave him deep, and you can allow this guy to basically sit at the base of your midfield and enable an Enzo, a Chukwuemeka, a Raheem Sterling, all these other guys, and we'll get into that in just a second. But you also allow a Pochettino press. So key in what it is that Pochettino is trying to achieve. You cannot have guys who are half committed, half pressing, half doing X, half doing Y. Pochettino needs players that follow to a T, pretty much to a T, what it is that he needs to do. And if you get the best defensive midfielder in the world, or potentially one of the best young defensive midfielders in the world, that's what you're going to be able to do. Not only that, but if they pass your press, you then get someone that can make a standing tackle. You've got someone that's willing to go to ground and is a committed, brilliant floor tackler as well. And you've also got someone who basically allows others to mess up in those situations. Again, we'll get into that in a second. Build is the next big word I've got here. Pochettino loves to build. And the way that he built with Chelsea over the weekend, which is the only data I've got on them this season, even though I've really enjoyed them in pre-season, I did a little breakdown for them a couple of weeks ago. Look at this. That is Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher is an off-the-ball build-up player. He's not someone who gets on the ball. He's not someone who's going to be able to offer, and I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he's not going to be able to offer the best support for the likes of Thiago, who's on the ball a lot, the likes of Colwell, who's on the ball a lot, the likes of an Enzo, a Chukwuemeka, or even someone who's dropping a little bit deeper, say a Jackson. You've got a guy who basically can splay the ball out. That's what you need there. Again, even after the subs were made, he was still one of the most deep lying playmakers there. That's not him. I know he's not a bad player. I think Conor Gallagher's fantastic, but he can do that somewhere else. Moisés Caicedo always improved the other players in his midfield. He empowered Alexis McAllister. He empowered Gross. He empowered Matoma. There are plenty of examples where, and think of it this way, right? Think of Matoma or whoever you want to put out on the right wing for Brighton as really the Chelsea players, right? That could be a Reece James. It could be a Chilwell, who basically plays as a left winger for those guys. It could be a Raheem Sterling, who was constantly in space against Liverpool. It could be a Mudryk, someone like that. He's able to win the ball back and instantly set them off. And not only that, he's adaptable. So you see him here playing as part of a 2. Really, Chelsea might want him to play as a 1 at any one point. There are plenty of different departments where you can get him. And this is how I see Chelsea setting up with him in the future. It will line up like this, but very often it will be enacted like this. Really, Enzo's pushing on. Really, Enzo's pushing on up here, trying to get the press as high as possible. Mudryk probably pressing as well, Chilwell there, Colwell really across here, Thiago really across here. They did have another centre-back, and so I'll put him there, but really Reece James is pushing on and they've got another centre-back kind of there. But my point still stands, essentially. Really, what they've got is that, and they will have another centre-back there. That can be Reece James for now, but it's not Reece James in the long run. Reece James is more of that, right? It allows Sterling to drop inside. It allows Enzo to get a little bit further forward. I thought Chukwuemeka was fantastic against Liverpool. He got in the right spaces. His feet were really tidy. What Caicedo will allow each of these guys to do, and you can almost imagine a web coming off him, is get better in every one of these positions. Now, that's not to say he doesn't have deficiencies in his game. There's plenty of time where you think, you know what, like, I can see you getting caught up in the play. I can see that there are times where you'll get caught out because, you know, maybe your distribution could be a little bit better, right? But that's also because, and bear this in mind, he's not always playing in the very top side that he could be playing in right now. So bear that in mind when you're analysing as well. And when people are going, well, is he really that good? Same went for Rice. You instantly see Declan Rice coming in at Arsenal, and I know Chelsea fans aren't going to enjoy this, but you see Declan Rice coming at Arsenal going, look how much I've learned over the first couple of weeks of being here. It's not to say that David Moyes is not a good manager. It's not to say that De Zerbi is not a good manager. But it is to say that when you can empower the players to play at the very top level, to be competing for the very top honours, then you're going to have them playing better football. You're going to have them playing more empowered, more enabled football. Now, he might be playing as a 2 with Enzo. It might even be one day that Enzo is pushing on and you might have maybe a Santos dropping in alongside him, right? It might even be that there is kind of a much more controlling midfield where really the numbers that are controlling for Chelsea are up here. And really you've got a Thiago and a Colwell. Colwell is basically Virgil van Dijk 2.0/3.0 at this point. These guys enable you to go, hey, I can and will play a much more controlling style of football and rely on Colwell, Thiago, and probably should put one more over here. Who's my excess guy? I'll bring Chukwuemeka back. Or even Mudryk. Like, let's just relabel him in a second. In the long run, let's see. You also saw the real issue, by the way, which I think could be really empowering here and will be interesting to see is James and Chilwell. Neither of them made it through the game against Liverpool. Both of them, not with questionable injury histories, but both of them not able to make it through the full games at the moment. And so you saw subs come on for those guys, and naturally, you know, you want them to play full games. Having someone who can sit at the base of midfield, not need that support, empower the players around him, is going to enable you to do more of that. It's going to enable you to push on even more and basically be the wingers that you want to be. Not only that, but you put Colwell out there, ball goes out there. Chilwell, Chukwuemeka, I think, has been fantastic. Obviously, it's unfortunate that Nkunku's got the injury in pre-season, but Enzo can be a much more attacking and enabling, high-pressing player, as can Raheem Sterling. He found so much joy in midfield here. I imagine people will sit someone on Sterling in the future. Liverpool didn't really do that because they didn't have a 6. But, you know, in the long run, Sterling won't have that level of space. Doesn't really matter. Reece James will overlap there. Reece James can come inside. Sterling can go outside. The spaces that you can make are great with Caicedo. Caicedo could also come along this side, be a support player. He could also come along this side, be a support player there. Allows Enzo to drop the... You've got 2 really adaptable central midfielders, one of which is more defensively minded, one of which is more offensively minded, but is very good at winning the ball back. Both these guys can win the ball back and within seconds turn and be away. Turn and be away. It's what you want in modern Premier League football, right? And then you want to be able to get it to someone who's amazing with his feet, Chukwuemeka, or Sterling in this space, or a Jackson that can then be overlapping, possibly another striker that they've just brought in. Anyway, the point is, look at what they're able to build with this, right? They're able to build a hyper-adaptable, but also very well-oiled machine that knows where the ball goes as soon as they get it. Early on, they were sort of getting a bit outthought by Liverpool, mainly because of this defensive area where Jota was kind of sitting on them there. I doubt that they'd be able to have sat Caicedo on him in the same way. I doubt that they would have been able to sit someone else on a Caicedo, right? Caicedo would completely change that for Chelsea. And not only that, but, Colwill was, I think, tactically not informed in the best way for Chelsea. He probably could have played a better game for them, I think, in the first half at least, not in the second half. And when he was given the tactical adaptability and Chelsea worked out Liverpool, he sat on the likes of Mo Salah, and it worked. It frustrated Liverpool massively. But in the first half, didn't have that. What would you have had with a defensive midfielder? Possibly a bit more cover. You possibly could have come a little bit higher. There's loads of reasons why you want him there, right? So, you don't want to go on the Liverpool game because I think that was also quite a bespoke formation. But broadly, that's what you've got. I think that is an incredible Chelsea team that if you bring Jackson even a little bit deeper, Chelsea go there. Let me even look at that. Look, that pretty much matches up actually. Look, Sterling was the most advanced player. Sterling is the most advanced player. Jackson was a little bit deeper. Jackson's a little bit deeper. Chukwuemeka's a little bit deeper. Chukwuemeka's a little bit. You get what I'm saying here. Their average touches and all these kind of things, it's not about having any more your striker closest to goal, your DM closest to wherever it is. This guy, which probably will be Caicedo in the long term, will empower those other people to make better decisions within the team. And basically, you can draw a web from there, and there. He's won the ball back multiple times in the Premier League and put it out to a Matoma out here. Hence why Matoma has mixed games for Brighton. But, overall, I think you think Matoma is a player who can cut inside. That will empower another really great striker. Well, I'd be interested to know, actually, if they were to get someone else, like a Welbeck or someone like that in that they could play off. That would actually work really well. Danny Welbeck wouldn't be a bad signing for Chelsea. I know it's a weird thing to say, but he will have played for a lot of top sides at that point, and it would have been insane. He'll kind of have he's like the James Milner of the front line in the Premier League. Does that make sense? To me, it makes perfect sense. To you, it probably doesn't because it's a stupid thing to say. Anyway, the point is, right, this is an inspired signing and Pochettino is going to love him. He's always loved a defensive midfielder that empowers the centre-backs, enables them to move over a little bit. Of course, Pochettino is a defensively minded manager who's great at putting together these kind of formations. It works, is what I'm saying. In the long run, I absolutely love it. In the short run, I think he's going to hit the ground running at Chelsea because this guy's been chomping at the bit. He's probably, he's not been really that involved with Brighton for a little while now because, as De Zerbi said, he's not his concern anymore. He's got other concerns. He wants to put other people ahead of him. It's exciting times if you're a Chelsea fan. They might even get someone else, possibly in the shape of Lavia. If Lavia comes in, really, you'd imagine he'd play either the Enzo role. You can see him really playing a more advanced role. They might even have you probably won't get a 3. It'd be weird if they got a 3, but you kind of get almost more like that, where he would play. Can he play that advanced? Why would you do that? You just wouldn't really do that. If you're Lavia, why would you go there? Maybe he wants to be involved in a title challenge side like this, but you get what I'm saying. There's some exciting stuff coming for Chelsea in the immediate term. Jackson, incredibly exciting. Sterling, incredibly exciting. Enzo. This is the most expensively assembled midfield in the Premier League right now, and rightly so. Look at it. Anyone who's saying that, Todd Bowley doesn't know what he's doing, to an extent, I get it. But you know what I really understand about this? I think Todd Bowley's been smart. He's not played possum, but at the same time, he's not gone out there and gone, I know what I'm doing. This is exactly the best thing. But look at that squad that he's assembled. Colwill, fantastic. Thiago, I think, is probably their next replaceable, big replaceable. Chilwell and James will improve in terms of fitness. And whoever is their third centre-back, I'll be interesting to see who it is. I think they will make that work in the long run. The next round of replacements will be there. He is a loophole finder, and that's how we got Caicedo. He is a loophole finder, and that is how we got Enzo. He is a loophole finder, and that is how he's spent so much money since he's come into the club, because he's realised the rules that UEFA and the Premier League are not enforcing right now, and aren't enforcing in the short term at least. Over the long term, we can overcome those things with how we set out all of these kind of things, right? So how we basically get around the rules and how we work out financially, how we balance things out, is exactly why he is put in these kind of positions. So I think in the short term, it was great to have a knee-jerk reaction, say, oh, this guy's an idiot, whatever. I never really believed that. I know at times it's looked risky, and at times it's looked like, what is this guy doing? But when you look at the squad these guys have put together, when you look at how Poch has got such a clear plan, I'm not saying they're flattered to deceive. I'm not saying that they must succeed. Journalists should and would be putting pressure on this team now because that is a well-assembled team. I think the narrative will shift very quickly when we see how quickly Poch is putting them together, when we see how much money, when people start going, oh, well, that's totted up to 850, that's almost $1 billion, blah, blah, blah. I think he saw the issues at the club. In many ways, the rebuild is kind of damning of some other owners. But at the same time, I love what Chelsea are doing. I think it's really, look at that. That's a technically brilliant and proficient side. And if you Chelsea fans can't work that out now, which I think most of you currently have, you'd be wasting. You need to get behind this team. You'd be wasting a good opportunity to put a stamp back down, tempt in some other big players, have something meaningful happen that possibly I think is arguably more meaningful than what the previous generation did because of what we've realised they did since. Be interested to know what you guys think. I'll chat to you again in a little while. Let me know in the comments below. What does this enable? Who is this enabling? Is Enzo the big winner from this? Is Sterling the big winner from this? Is Colwell the big winner from this? Is Thiago really the big winner from this? Because he gets a lot of cover. Or is it also that they can now get rid of a Kepa, they can get rid of a couple of other players, and Caicedo can come deep. He can enable these guys to come and get a bit more possession, basically not be worried on the ball because Caicedo is so comfortable at getting the ball moving forward, which also Lavia would be as well. There's so many exciting aspects for this Chelsea team is what I'm saying. It's not like this is just a one-dimensional side that you think, God, how are these guys going to attack it? They've got ages to put this team together now. They don't have any European football this season. Another thing which probably shows, hey, this guy understands where this project is going. There is a lot of exciting stuff going on here at Chelsea. I look forward to seeing Chelsea fans' feedback in the comments below. Congratulations on getting Caicedo. It was the right thing for Chelsea to do. It's the right thing for him to do. I'd love him at Liverpool, but he is now a player in blue and he plays on the King's Road. Enjoy him, guys, because you have got at least a season before he demands to go to Real Madrid, or Real Madrid come in and demand him. And I will see you guys in the next video where we're talking about how well Poch has been doing. Chat to you guys as well. Much love. Bye.